Hello friends! In this video, I will be providing irrefutable proof that the General Conference of the Seventh-day Adventist Church has officially joined and united with Catholics, and this is going to teach several very important lessons. Right now, there is a significant case before the United States Supreme Court, 303 Creative LLC versus Ellenis. There are all sorts of videos and articles already online giving the details, so I will just give a brief summary. There is a woman in Colorado who has a website design business, 303 Creative, and she wants to run her business, but she does not want to be forced to build websites that would send messages violating her beliefs. She is a Christian and she doesn't want to build, for example, pro-homosexual websites. And for those of you who are familiar with American culture and news, you know how Colorado has militantly fought against the people like Jack Phillips in the Masterpiece Cake Shop case, which also went to the Supreme Court. He did not want to make cakes for homosexual weddings, and so the state sued him. Well, now we have a similar situation with 303 Creative, which involves huge challenges and possible implications for free speech, and whether you can compel or force people to speak or stay silent against their beliefs. Now, the General Counsel is the legal department of the General Conference of the Adventist Church, and part of their work is to argue and file amicus briefs with the Supreme Court, especially involving significant cases like this that could have serious consequences for our ability and our freedom to do evangelism. So on February 22nd, 2022, after years of working its way through the lower courts, the Supreme Court decided to accept this case, 303 Creative. Well, just a few months ago, the Adventist leadership, they filed an amicus brief on June 2nd. But please notice this. Pay very careful attention to the fact that when they did so, they joined together with the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops and Colorado Catholic Conference. And not only this, but also the General Council of the Assemblies of God and the Billy Graham Evangelistic Association. And right there in black and white, the General Conference of Seventh-day Adventists. It is an undeniable, indisputable fact that our church leaders have openly, publicly, very officially joined together with Catholics and evangelicals to defend the right to free speech. And this is very important because we have been told for decades that it is wrong and a serious violation of our message and mission to get involved in any way defending the right to life. We Adventists have been told for decades and continue to be told by church leaders and evangelists and pastors, especially in North America, that we cannot in any way defend a child's right not to be killed because we cannot, quote, unite with Rome or unite with those Catholics, oh my, or join together with the beast of Revelation, etc., etc. Yet when it comes to the right to free speech, we openly, unashamedly, publicly join with Catholics and evangelicals defending the right to free speech. But this is completely absurd. It is entirely absurd because the right to free speech is dependent upon the right to life. You can't speak if you are dead. You have to have the right to life in order to have the right for free speech to even exist. However, the magicians and shamans in our church have been chanting their mantra for years that if we defend the right to life, then we are committing some great and terrible wrong. Adventist leaders, administrators, and evangelists have bent themselves in all manner of contortions, going out of their way to ensure that we are very afraid of the horrible consequences of defending life. But when it comes to defending free speech, suddenly, oh, that's okay. Now, I wanted to make this video much earlier, but I decided against it because I want to let enough time pass by to give opportunity for people to respond, and I want everyone to please notice. Please pay very close attention and notice that this amicus was filed in June, well over 4 months ago, and even until this day, there has been no complaints or criticisms that our church has united with Catholics. You notice that? Nobody is whining or crying or protesting. Even the offshoots and fanatics that take every small thing and blow it up into some great apostasy, even they aren't complaining about this. You notice that? And this teaches an enormous lesson. Nobody is complaining because everybody knows full well that it is perfectly okay to openly and publicly unite with Catholics and evangelicals as long as it's a legitimate issue. Everybody from the top to the bottom of our church all understand that this is perfectly okay and that there is nothing wrong with this because it does not involve any compromise of our beliefs. We are standing shoulder to shoulder with both Catholics and evangelicals to defend the right to free speech because everybody knows that this is okay. But if you talk about uniting with them to defend the right to life, suddenly people lose their minds and complain that you are abandoning the church, abandoning our special message, and rejecting our mission. And this proves another very important point. They do this because deep down, Adventists do not believe the right to life is a legitimate issue. This is especially true with, quote, conservatives. At the end of the day, in the final analysis, when you refute and unmask all their misleading euphemisms and doublespeak, these people really believe that killing children should be legal, that the government does not have the right to legislate the Sixth Commandment. They believe that children have no right to life, and because there is no neutrality between life and death, they have chosen the side of death. They are therefore very pro-abortion. And right here, uniting with Catholics and evangelicals, notice the complete silence from everyone over the last 4 months is the strongest, biggest, most blatant, in-your-face proof that it's okay to unite with Catholics on legitimate issues, but they won't defend children because Adventists don't believe that defending children is a legitimate issue. That conclusion logically follows from the premises. And in order to deny the conclusion, you have to deny the premises, but you can't because that is what we teach and believe. And as you can tell from the responses to my videos over the years, not only do they believe that defending children is not a legitimate issue, but if you do defend children, then you are some horrible, evil, hateful, racist enemy of the church inspired by Satan. The very people who condemn defending the right to life are the exact same people who want to use little children as human shields against the Sunday law. Andrew, you don't understand. Little children need to be violently tortured and murdered so that we can avoid the Sunday law. Something only a highly educated Adventist could say with a straight face. And a good recent example of this, there are many examples, but a good recent example is that Secrets Unsealed and Pastor Stephen Bohr have been sending out an email to people saying, quote, I do believe that the final issue that will divide the world is not abortion, but Sabbath Sunday, and we must not be detracted from this central message or lambast the government, thus creating a time of trouble before the time of trouble. We can't oppose the legalized genocide of children because if we do so, we'll cause a time of trouble, and doing so will detract from our message. This is an actual statement sent out by Pastor Stephen Bohr and Secrets Unsealed just a few weeks ago in September, and it's the same gibberish and nonsense that we've heard for decades and continue to hear. Adventist pioneers lambasting the government over legalized slavery. Oh, that's part of the gospel work and three angels' messages. But the legalized slaughter of hundreds of millions of little boys and girls, oh no, that's going to cause us a time of trouble. You can't make this stuff up. Anyways, that's enough for today. The next time that you hear someone say, we can't defend the right to life, or we can't be united with Catholics and evangelicals, just reply, 303 Creative.